The air inside the Ocean View Marine Park was different that morning. The sun glinted off the water in shimmering gold ripples, but behind the beauty was a strange heaviness. Jessica, the park's star dolphin trainer, stood at the edge of the pool, one hand resting on the rail, her eyes locked on the sleek, silver-gray figure slicing through the water. This was Luna, her partner, her friend, and in many ways, the one soul who had kept her going through the hardest chapters of her life. Jessica had been working with dolphins for 8 years, but Luna was different. When Luna had first arrived at the park, she was a small, frightened rescue from a tangled fishing net out at sea. Most dolphins took weeks to trust a human. Luna had taken just 3 days. Jessica remembered kneeling at the side of the rehabilitation tank, speaking softly, when Luna suddenly surfaced and pressed her nose to Jessica's palm, as if she had chosen her. From that moment, the two were inseparable, their connection something even the other trainers couldn't explain. But now, things were changing. The park was struggling financially. Ticket sales were down, and rumors whispered among staff that corporate management was looking to cut costs. That meant fewer animals, fewer trainers, and, worst of all, reallocations. It was a cold corporate word for what Jessica feared, Luna being sent away. Jessica had heard about the shipment list. Dolphins from underperforming parks were sold to overseas aquariums, some with poor conditions. She had seen the reports. Animals kept in cramped tanks, forced into endless shows without rest, their once bright eyes dimming over time. The thought of Luna ending up like that tore her apart. And yet, she had no power to stop it. That morning, the head manager called Jessica into the small glass-walled office. His words were calm but firm. "Today's the final show with Luna. Tomorrow, she's being transferred." The world seemed to tilt. Jessica managed to nod, but her throat tightened so much she could barely breathe. She walked out in a daze, clutching the railing like it was the only thing keeping her upright. She wanted to scream, to fight, to do something, but she knew if she caused trouble, she could lose her job and her last chance to be with Luna, even for a day. She decided to make today count. The show that afternoon drew a bigger crowd than usual. Families laughed, children pointed excitedly, the smell of popcorn and sea salt filling the air. They didn't know this was goodbye. Jessica kept smiling for them, but inside, every trick, every leap, every splash felt like another piece of her heart was breaking. When Luna leapt through the hoop, her favorite trick, Jessica noticed something. The dolphin's movements were sharper, faster, almost as if Luna could sense the urgency. Every time Luna surfaced, she locked eyes with Jessica. There was something in those eyes, not fear, but a deep, unspoken understanding. Then came the final act, a synchronized swim routine they had perfected over years. Jessica dove into the water, her body cutting cleanly through the cool blue. Luna swam beside her, their movements in perfect harmony, turns, spins, glides, like a dance they had practiced all their lives. The crowd erupted in applause. But Jessica didn't climb out right away. She floated in the water, her hand resting on Luna's back, tears mixing with the saltwater around her. The audience thought it was part of the act, but she whispered into the rippling surface. "I'm sorry, I love you. Please be safe." Luna circled her once, twice, and then, in a moment Jessica would never forget, the dolphin pushed gently against her chest, almost hugging her, before swimming a slow lap around the pool, sending a high, clear whistle into the air. The sound echoed through the stadium, strangely mournful, and for the first time, Jessica saw tears in the eyes of the people watching. That whistle, it wasn't just a sound. It was a goodbye. After the show, Jessica wasn't allowed back in the pool. The transfer team had arrived early. 2 men in wetsuits guided Luna into a transport sling, her sleek body cradled in wet fabric as a crane lifted her out of the water. The crowd had gone home, the stadium empty except for a handful of staff who stood silently, watching their star be taken away. Jessica stood at the gate, her hands balled into fists. Luna's eye met hers one last time. In that gaze, Jessica felt every moment they had shared, the rescues, the rehearsals, the laughter, the quiet talks by the water after the crowds left. And then, she was gone. Jessica drove home in silence, the radio off, the sunset a blur in her rearview mirror. She didn't sleep that night. She sat at her kitchen table, replaying the day over and over. And then she made a decision. If she couldn't save Luna here, she would fight for her, and for all dolphins, everywhere. She started writing letters to marine life organizations, contacting journalists, telling Luna's story online. Videos from that final performance began spreading across social media. People were moved by the bond between trainer and Dolphin, and outraged by the transfer. Donations poured in to fund rescue missions. Months later, Jessica got an email she would never forget. Luna is safe. She's been relocated to a marine sanctuary. Jessica flew out to see her. The sanctuary's lagoon was huge, with open access to the ocean. Luna looked stronger, freer, her dorsal fin cutting through the waves with power and grace. When Jessica called her name, Luna swam straight over, leaping high into the air before landing with a massive splash that drenched Jessica head to toe. She laughed through her tears. This time, they weren't tears of loss, but of hope. Jessica's fight didn't stop there. She began speaking at schools, advocating for marine life protection, sharing Luna's story with the world. People listened, and things began to change. And now, to everyone watching this video, if Luna's story touched your heart, let it remind you of the power of love, compassion, and never giving up on those who can't speak for themselves. Comment below with your thoughts, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and remember, on this channel, we stand for kindness above all else.